Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Allie. Welcome to my New York apartment. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, I'm Allie Provost, and we are currently in my New York apartment on the Upper East Side. So I am a blogger and a photographer here in New York City. I specialize in fashion, lifestyle, and interior photography, but I also, of course, do my own content creation. And who doesn't love dressing up like a cupcake on a Tuesday? And I've been doing that here in New York for almost 9 years now, so very exciting. I love all aspects of content creating. It's just so fun to wear different hats every day. Some days I can dress up really crazy and chaotic, and other days I can wear sweatpants and just edit all day. It's really great that I get to manage my own schedule, and I get to travel and see things and meet so many amazing people every day that I couldn't be more grateful. So when I first moved into this apartment, it was pretty much a blank slate. Everything was white walls, white ceiling, white floors. It just felt like a very sterile environment. I was very thankful that the previous owners made a lot of improvements in terms of the layout and more of the behind the walls improvements like plumbing, electrical. But my apartment is a pre-war building. It was built in the 1930s, and I felt as if the previous owners went a little bit too modern for the heritage of the apartment. So when I came in, I decided to rip up the ultra-modern flooring, put in herringbone, cover almost every inch of this apartment with wallpaper. And if I didn't do the walls and wallpaper, I did the ceiling with a wallpaper, and really added some built-ins, some molding, character to really make it feel like me, but also honoring the age of the building. Okay, this is the foyer. This is the first thing that you see when you walk into my apartment, which is so fun and exciting. Obviously, the one thing that you cannot miss is the fabulous wallpaper. This is actually the first thing that I picked out. Before I even got the apartment, I knew that this was the wallpaper that needed to go somewhere. So I sent this to my designer, and I thought, we have to make sure that we incorporate this in some way, and that perfect place for it was in the foyer. I also love over here how I have just this little seating area for me to, toss my shoes, put on my shoes before I leave for the day. This bench is one of those pieces that I just absolutely love. I love the cane work. It makes me so happy. And then if you guys remember my last video, this is my cake piece. It is supposed to look like a Wayne Thiebaud painting, but it's a photograph by Sharon Core, and she matched it to scale to the painting almost exactly. And it is my favorite piece. And have your cake and eat it too. And then also, of course, we have the round table filled with coffee table books. I'm not saying that I initially picked a apartment that could fit a round table with coffee table books and big branches, but I'm not saying that because it's here. So this vase and branches, obviously they are cherry blossoms, and it is not quite spring, but we all know how much I love cherry blossoms. So I got some faux cherry blossoms from A Floral, and I feel like it's spring all year round, and then I don't have to change them. And I always try to invest in really nice faux flowers, and then I don't have to keep refilling it every week and whatnot. And then on the coffee table, we have, little books. Like this is a vintage book from France. And then this book here was given to me by my team at Kate Spade. I had a full-time job before I became a full-time photographer and content creator. And so this book has a very special place on the top. And then if we come back around over here, we have my wall of, to coin Ariel, my thingamabobs. This bookcase took a very long time to fill. I didn't realize how hard it is to fill bookshelves until I tried to. But this bookcase houses knickknacks that I've collected from friends, family, also my travels, and then of course, my little you know, micro mini bag that fits absolutely nothing, but again, it brings me so much joy. This bag is actually more useful than it looks because it fits my wallet, my AirPods, and my keys, and that's all I need. And then I also have brought this over back from my old apartment. This was the hat that my mom wore brunching, and so I have that nicely perched up there. And then I found these shoes on sale, and I just needed to add them to my cart immediately. And I thought that they were perfect just right there. So when it came to the books, as much as I love reading, I typically do all of my reading on a Kindle. So finding physical books that could fill the bookshelf was a little bit difficult, but I found this company called Books by the Foot that literally sell books by the foot that can match any aesthetic. So I have some very aesthetically pleasing books scattered throughout. And then up here is this vintage bowl, and this has all of my matchbooks that I've started collecting. I had a friend that just got me into collecting matches because she does, so now I have copied her and I also now collect them. So then over on this side, probably my favorite little piece is my pink phone. It actually doesn't work. It was a prop that my mom had used for something. I can't even remember what she used it for, but I snatched it from her house and I don't think she's noticed, so we'll just pretend that it's not here. And then I love celebrating my friends' art. So I have a few pieces from my friends. This is a continuous line drawing from one of my friends. And then I have over here a digital portrait of me, which is exciting, that my friend did for me, and I absolutely love it. So the last time I saw you all, I was in a very tiny studio apartment, also on the Upper East Side, very pink, very girly. My shoes were in the middle of my living room, and it was just living in a closet. And now I live in a 1-bedroom with an office, and having space is such a huge relief. I have a place for everything. I don't have to always have every single piece of furniture be multifunctional and multi-purpose. I can really just buy the pieces that I love and look great in the space. I don't have to worry about them serving 18 different functions. And having a space for all my clothes and my shoes, it's just such a peace of mind when I come home every day. So my personal style for design really is colorful but classic. I try to incorporate lots of color and texture, but with pieces that you could find in an antique store, and then also mixing in antiques with contemporary and some funky pieces, which I can definitely show you guys. Okay, so that was the foyer, and then we come down the steps, which is probably one of my favorite selling points of the apartment. I really wanted a sunken living area, and that leads us to the dining area room thing. So I have never in my adult life had a dining room table. So this is my first one, and I have had countless dinner parties, having my friends over, eating takeout on china. It's all the things, and having just, candlesticks and a place for my friends to sit down. So every time I've had a dinner party, I've always liked it to be a potluck style, and everyone just brings their favorite dish, or some of my friends who may not be able to cook, they bring in their favorite takeout. It is just always fun to just bring everybody together and kind of have a girl dinner of potlucks. My first 2 apartments did not have a dining room table, so this is truly a luxury in New York, and it is one that I will not take for granted. I think the number 1 luxury in New York is a washer dryer, and then number 2 is a dishwasher, and then number 3 is a dining room table. So then on the other side of my dining table, I have this set of prints of a painting. And it's just really fun. It's colorful. It brings in some solid, bold colors, because although my apartment is very colorful, it's not super saturated, which was very intentional, but we do have little pops of saturation right here. So when I first started doing content creation, I would wake up at the crack of dawn, try to get to the Brooklyn Bridge, try to get to these very big monumental shots in New York without people, without crowds. I have started to take a step back from waking up so early now now I really try to find little pockets and corners on throughout my neighborhood where I feel like I can get a shot without many people. The only time that I will really still make an effort to get up really early are for the cherry blossoms and for the fall foliage in Central Park, because those are without a doubt the most beautiful shots. Well, without a doubt travel to Washington, D.C. I will drive, hours, I think 5 hours to go down to Washington, D.C. for the cherry blossoms. I'm also going to be going to Vermont in a couple weeks to go see more fall foliage. So my commitment to the season-changing, ideal photo shot is there. The commitment is definitely there. So while we are over here, I have to show you the kitchen, which is very large for New York City standards. And you'll notice that there really isn't much color in here, and that's because I wanted the kitchen to feel like a breath from the color throughout the rest of the space. So let me show you. This is the kitchen. This is where I pretend like I know how to cook. And here on the dish towel, it says, "Oops, I spent the grocery money on shoes again," which happens more often than you would think. But I recently just painted it a slightly off-white color and replaced the hardware here, both on the handles and the faucet. The previous owner had very harsh, modern silver fixtures, and I really just wanted to feel softer and warmer, and I love having the little soft accents of the gold knobs. So behind me here we have a slice of cake that's actually secretly a candle. My friend got it for me for my birthday, and I thought it was just so funny to plop right on this cake stand. And I think we have a cake theme going on in multiple corners of this apartment, so obviously we had to include a little piece of cake in the kitchen. And then over here, obviously, we have some more faux florals. I love the tie-in of the purple. It ties in with the foyer and just brings in a little bit of color to this space, with, of course, it will always be New York or nowhere, because it truly will always be New York or nowhere. So something also that I have throughout the apartment are these light switches, and I just love how fun they look. It brings your attention to light switches, which is normally something that people try to shield you from, but I just love them, and they're really fun. Like, they sound really good, right? So coming from my last apartment, this apartment is much, much larger, and I'm so grateful for that. But being a 1-bedroom, it still technically is considered a small space, especially when you compare it to, homes out in the suburbs that have multiple bedrooms and multiple storage units and offices and closets, and I don't have all of that. But when I was designing this space, I really tried to incorporate built-ins that would be able to help me maximize all of the space. So hiding my printer, my wireless router, my camera gear, things like that. I really wanted to make sure that had a space behind closed doors that wouldn't make my apartment feel extra cluttered. Okay, so we'll go back down some stairs. I love the stairs, but after a few glasses of wine, you do have to be a little careful of where you step. But we will come now into the living room. Again, having like a full-size couch compared to my last apartment is so nice. Any of my friends that come and stay over, they're very thankful that it is an extra comfy couch. And it's just placed right under the window. Okay, so next to the couch, obviously we have the true centerpiece of the apartment, which is this coffee table. It is something that I hunted down for many, many months. I saw an inspiration picture of it, and I just needed to have it in my life. My friend shared it on Instagram, and after months of searching for the right coffee table, I saw it and I was like, that's it. So I reached out to them, and they were so amazing to work with. They are based in Italy, so it had a very long journey to get to me here in New York. And when it arrived in this giant crate, and I loved that FedEx just dropped it on my sidewalk and said, good luck. And I had no idea what to do with it. So I'm just stranded. It's raining, and I have this giant crate. I can't carry it, but somehow I managed to corral my friends, and we carried it upstairs, and it is now here, and it will not move at all. It is not moving from this point on. But the reason I love it so much is because I actually wanted these Fendi coffee tables that kind of look like earrings, like it's like a flat earring and the base is the earring back, which I loved, but I didn't want to invest that kind of money into a coffee table. So when I found this, and I loved how they had the striped marble, it has the notes of these Fendi coffee tables, but not, and it makes me happy. I feel like things are just making me happy. This is very much dopamine decor. I try to find pieces that really just bring me joy, and this coffee table is one of them. And then on the coffee table is this other piece. So this may look like a purse, but it's actually a vase made to look like a Prada bag. So again, I have some more lovely faux florals, and the Prada bag needs to go on the Prada coffee table book. So they are paired together in holy matrimony. So one of my biggest pain points when it comes to interior design is how ugly many TVs are. So when they came out with the Samsung Frame TV, I knew I needed to have it because this is a TV. It is not a picture. And what I love about it is that I can change the picture whenever I feel like it, depending on my mood. I recently just found this one on the little gallery and I thought it was so fun, but you can also upload your own photos. I've had my own photography prints up on the display, so it really can be whatever you want it. So when you obviously want to watch TV, you just have to turn it on. So like here is the art gallery, and watch anything, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, The Little Mermaid, obviously. And then when you want it to go away, it's away. It doesn't look like a TV. And then below the TV, I have this antique chest that I sourced from an Instagram account that I follow that's based out of Atlanta, and had it shipped up to me. I thought it was so fun, and I love being able to incorporate antique vintage pieces with the funky modern coffee table. It's really, really cool. And then this is my bowl of lemons, because every living room needs a bowl of lemons. It's the law. I don't make the rules. So in lieu of a bar cart, I have a bar cabinet, and I have my favorite little purple stemless wine glasses displayed on top. And these are great, obviously, just to have out to not only tie in the colors from the foyer, but to be readily available for any and all drinks that need to be made. And then it's right below my gray Malin piece of the Beverly Hills Hotel. And it's just pink, it's fun. I love how vintage it feels, but it's obviously very much a contemporary photo. So before we go into the office, I want to show this table. This table is probably one of the few pieces of furniture that has followed me from my very first New York apartment. It is a Kate Spade table, and if you can't tell, it has a little bow on the base, and I'm quite obsessed with bows. So naturally, this table needed to stay with me throughout all of the apartments in New York. So the thing I love most about my apartment has to be the wallpaper. Just the fact that I can walk in the door and I just am greeted by an abundance of floral wallpaper and color. It makes me so happy. Okay, this is the office, which we really should be calling the cloffice, half closet, half office. So although I have a regular closet, this is where I like to store all of my gowns and my poofy dresses and the dresses that make a really great Zoom background, because my computer and desk are right here. So having all of these obviously out and displayed is a way for me to kind of see what I have, and when I'm getting dressed for an event, I can just always run to this selection and pull something from that. Or if I'm getting ready, for a Homeworthy video, I can just pull a gown from there, very casually. So on this rack, I would say this is one of my favorite dresses. And I wore this for my 29th birthday in Paris. I typically go to Fashion Week as a photographer for one of my clients to both Milan and Paris, and it always happens to be over my birthday. So I always try to bring one piece that I can feel extra special in when I am there. And this was for my 29th birthday. It was extra twirly, which we love. And now getting it back into the rack is always the challenging part, but you just gotta stuff them in there. It's like 27 dresses, but we have a few more than 27. And then a few over, we have this opera coat. And I have worn this many times with like jeans and like a tank, and it's so fun. But then also can obviously go black tie. If you want to feel like a human highlighter, this is the piece for you. Okay, the last piece I'll show you is this one that I wore to the Taylor Swift concert. I am very much a Swiftie, so I had to have this dress because it has little moons and stars. So it was like a lavender haze midnight dress. So, I mean, very not concert appropriate, but for Taylor Swift, like we had to, right? On each side of the dresses, I have shelves to display my favorite bags, and most of the favorite bags happen to be these novelty bags from Kate Spade. They are just so fun and whimsical, and they're such a conversation starter. So this is truly a bag, and this one actually fits quite a bit, which is great. Choosing a favorite bag is like trying to choose a favorite child. Like, it cannot be done. But I'll show you one that I hunted down on eBay. So this is a dictionary that opens up, and it's a clutch. And this one really is probably the one that looks most like a book. I have other book clutches, but this one truly looks like a book, and I've been at restaurants with it, and the waitress is like, why do you have a dictionary with you? And I have to tell her that it's actually a book. So these are my other book clutches here, but I also love incorporating the shoes that I can never wear because they are so high, but they're so pretty. So they deserve a place on the shelf. And whenever I'm feeling like, I don't know, I could break my ankle today, we have some room in the schedule, I'll pull these out and I'll wear them. But for safety, they stay on the shelf. So on the very top, we have my luggage, which conveniently matches my ceiling wallpaper. And these are actually functional suitcases. They're really great because it kind of goes with that vintage feel, but has modern amenities. And it looks like a vintage trunk, but has wheels. It has all of the things that you want for a regular suitcase, but made to look like a vintage trunk. And then here is my desk. I absolutely love burl wood, and we really wanted to incorporate it in some way to the space. We had a few desk variations that we were toying with beforehand, and when I saw this one, I knew it was the one because I love the soft lines. I love how it just is very clean, but still classic. And it also kind of ties in with the molding that we added. We did all of the picture frame molding and really wanted to add some fun pop because we added the high gloss on the walls too, to make it a little shiny, a little fun. And we definitely cannot leave this space without talking about my desk chair, which was the piece that took the absolute longest to get here. It took about 16 months for it to arrive, and I think it was worth every single second. I love this desk chair because it has these really soft curves. It doesn't have a standard, chair where you have these kind of wonky legs. I don't even know what to call them, but it's really fun. And I had somebody on TikTok say that it looks like the Shake Shack logo, and now I can't unsee it, unfortunately, but it still is a piece of art. I joke and say it's like a sculpture. So as I noted, we pretty much have wallpaper in every single room, and obviously the walls have been painted, so we needed to do the ceiling. So we added this really cool striped paired with this crown jewel of a light fixture, and I think it's such a fun, unexpected place for wallpaper, and I think more people should wallpaper their ceilings. When we walk over here, we'll just pay no mind to the air conditioner because we love a pre-war apartment, but not the pre-war lack of AC. And no content creator's office would be complete without a selfie mirror. So this is my selfie mirror. This is where I take all of my outfit of the day shots because I have my window here. It gets really great light, and I love the little squiggles. All right, so now that we did the office, we're gonna show you the bedroom, but we're gonna pass the bathroom, which is behind this door. And if you may notice why my apartment is so clean, it's because all of the clutter has been shoved into the bathroom. So we're just gonna keep that door closed. This is the little entrance to the bedroom, but I first wanna point out these vintage 1930s doorknobs that I sourced from Etsy. We love an Etsy moment. But the old owners took out all of the original doorknobs, which of course I was very upset about, but thankfully one of my neighbors still had their original doorknobs. So I saw them and I tried to copy them as best as I could. So we have those. And that leads right into my hat wall. This is the only way that I have been able to store hats, and it also makes it an art piece. So one of my favorites is obviously this green one. And it makes the whole outfit, and obviously we have to have a bow because it wouldn't be an outfit without a bow. And let me see if there's another one that I love. Oh, I did also just get this one. And I thought, I haven't worn it yet, so it still has the tag on it, but I thought this was such a fun, colorful one. I just need to go somewhere tropical. So if somebody wants to invite me to like the Caribbean or the Maldives, let me know. I'll be ready. And for those who are curious, I really am very simple with how I hang them, and I just use a nail. It was quite terrifying to nail into the wallpaper, but we survived, we did it, we made it through. From the hats, it leads us into the main room, which of course features this beautiful chinoiserie wallpaper. It was one of those wallpapers that I actually wasn't sure about at first, but I loved how calming it was because, again, with how colorful my apartment is, I needed to make sure that the palettes were still calming, especially for a bedroom where I need to sleep. So I love how we did this blue trim pairing with the blue undertones. So you see, it's not a perfect match, but it goes. I'm all about things going and not matching, and I think it's such a great complement to the tones of the paper. This leads us into the dresser with this giant monster of a light. It is not plugged in, so it doesn't technically work, but it's there for the aesthetic. It also houses my very first Hermes bag, which we cradle and love forever. And then underneath that, we have some more of my book clutches. These ones are Olympia Latan. Obviously, we have the New York Subway Guide, one of my favorites. And then still from my old apartment, you guys may remember my self-portrait that I had in my kitchen, I have now in my bedroom. So right now, I just restocked on my Miss Dior Cherie, but I got this one from a gift basket from Carolina Herrera, and I just love how it looks like a high heel. It reminds me of those Louboutins that we had in my closet that are an absolute death trap to walk in, but look fabulous. So then over here, this is my typically laundry stool that I cleaned off just for you guys, but that leads us into my beautiful prints. These are dried florals that I found again off of Etsy. Etsy, if you want to sponsor me, just call me up. These were from France, and I just love how they were framed by my local framer. And I just love how they really complete this side of the space because they don't take away from the wallpaper, but they add a really nice soft touch. And then over here was one of my nightstands. I have the same one on the other side, but has like these tiny little lamps. And I think it's so funny when you think about the scale of this compared to the headboard, and especially this compared to the monster on my dresser. I think it's so funny. These are like little nuggets of lamps. And I just have my jewelry, some necklaces, rings, and these dressers have such good storage. I can't even tell you how much they hold, but I am very thankful for the amount of drawer space that both these have. So when it came to the colors of this space, I wanted the entire apartment to still feel cohesive, but I wanted the bedroom to feel a little more calm. So we do have the punches of green and blue, but for the most part, it's very soft pinks, off-whites, creams, and feels like a nice, relaxing safe haven when you're comparing it to the rest of the space. Before we go into my closet for me to show you all of my clothes, I love these shams, but if you guys have a pain point of the little, ears flapping over, one thing I do to help is I have this very thick tape that I stick to the back, and it helps them stay up. And if you want your duvet to look extra fluffy, the trick is to put 2 duvet inserts into the cover, and it will look like a cloud. I just hope you don't get hot easily when you sleep, because you will kind of overheat. But if you get 2 lightweight ones, you're golden. And for the crown jewel of the apartment, it is the closet. So this is the closet. I worked very hard on reconfiguring this space in order to fit the most possible shoes, bags, accessories, and clothing as humanly possible. So the previous owners, they did a really great job and had a system installed, but I needed to rework it because they were not including the ceiling. There was about 1.5 feet on each side, all the way up to the ceiling, and I knew I needed to recapture that space very desperately. And I was able then to fit all of my shoes in here. I sadly had to say goodbye to the IKEA bookshelves that I made my shoe cabinets, but I think they look much better in a closet behind closed doors. And it's nice to have a space just for my shoes. So normally to get to the very, very top ones, I have to have my stool. So I'm not gonna show you any very high up, but these are some of my favorites. Obviously anything pink and sparkly is going to have my name on it. And then, to continue with the ankle breaking shoes, we have these, they're short, every day, just to run to the bodega. And then let me show one more. These are my little Dorothy shoes. I feel like these are so fun. I wore these, I think, maybe for my 26th birthday. So I love how every one of my pieces, I can relate back to a memory or a time that I wore it, and I almost relive that time or the event. Always fond memories. So when it came to actually trying to figure out how much space I could use to store my shoes, I knew the only way for me to fit all of my shoes was to put them one in front of the other. So if you notice, I only have one pair of shoes out in the front, and then the matching is behind. And that way I could have as much space as I could for the depth, because I didn't have the width. And these shoes go all the way up to the ceiling. I think I only have 2 spots for flats that can be filled, but other than that, it is fully jam-packed. So the shoes that I'm wearing today, right now, I don't want to brag, but they are very fancy slippers from Talbot's. Again, they're pink and have a bow. It's always nice when you wear a really long dress because no one sees your shoes and you can just wear really comfy shoes. Across from the shoes, I have my wall of purses. This, very similarly as the shoes, does go back pretty far. So I typically will rotate seasonal bags from the front to the back. But I have, again, it is a tight squeeze. You gotta make sure that whatever is fitting, there's only enough room for that. So obviously I love a bag that is so impractical. The only thing you can fit into it is your sanity. But they just add such a fun amount of whimsy and quirkiness to an outfit. And they are such conversation starters because there are so many people who will come up to you and be like, what are you even fitting in that bag? And sometimes I don't even have anything in the bag. I just carry the bag empty because it looks good with the outfit. The trick though is when you carry a micro bag, you have to make sure that your dress has pockets, otherwise it will be a tragedy. The other bags that I'm really loving at the moment are the Kate Spade Sam bags. These are the classic Kate Spade bags that they've had for so many years, and was one of the original bags that Kate Spade herself designed. So they brought it back, and obviously with quite a twist. I have 2 classic ones and then this one that has so many fun embellishments to it. Being able to wear this throughout the season is so fun, but it makes me so sad to have to put it away in the winter. And back here are the rest of my clothes. I get asked all of the time, who are my style inspirations? Where do I get inspiration from? And really all over. I think, my friends have such great style. I'm so thankful that I can bounce ideas off of them. But at the end of the day, I wear what makes me happy, and it's very much dopamine dressing. I really want to wear what puts a smile on my face, and hopefully it puts a smile on someone else's face too. So when you're trying to maximize closet space, it is essential that you get these space-saving hangers. So they are very, very thin, but pretty strong and durable, and that allows me to store as many pieces hanging as I can. And if I'm hanging something, it has to go in color order. I'm very big about things being, it doesn't have to be exactly rainbow, but it's gonna be as close as it possibly can. Typically, if I have a dress that has certain colors in it, I'll lead into that next color, and so I'll use a dress as like a transition. For these, I have, it goes from white to a white base with florals, to pink, to red, to yellow, green, blue, purple, and I have like 3 black dresses if I have to go to something kind of serious. But other than that, it's pretty continuous throughout all. And then my sweaters, I was very thankful that I was able to have a place to fold the sweaters. In my the previous layout of the closet, I was only able to hang them. And of course, that's not an ideal placement for sweaters. So having them folded is great. And then of course, in color order. Now, does it ever look exactly like this? No, it doesn't. I think it looks like this maybe like one day a month when I refold all of the sweaters. But knowing that they have a place at least is satisfying. Then below the sweaters, I have like my 4 pairs of jeans because I guess I have to have jeans. I don't know. I don't really wear them, so it doesn't really matter. And that is my closet. Home to me is a place where I can relax and take a breath from the day. Living in New York, it's very chaotic and you're just running around all day. And being here is like my little sanctuary.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.